Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Today's session is all about how dashboard slash insight building is able to make the decision more streamlined. And we have none other than Niranjan to share his
Dipak,
stories.
you are not audible.
Uh, am I audible now? Give a second. Am I audible now? Am I audible now, Niranjan?
Let me join back. Hold on.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. Here you go. Technology glitch. Yes. So, the idea of today's session is to understand that why organizations having tons and tons of reports, dashboards, MIS reports within the organizations are not able to make those decisive strategic decisions within the organizations. We'll touch base upon a concept called decision paralysis,
Mm-hmm.
and we have none other than Niranjan sir, who would share his thoughts, share his journeys around this topic. Niranjan, to start with, can you briefly explain the concept of being a data-driven organization? Because in general parlance, people think that we build data infrastructure, we build those reports on Power BI and Tableau makes everyone a data-driven company or an organization. So, what, according to you, in a layman's term, means to become a data-driven organization?
Yeah. Hi, Dipak. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me to this podcast or webinar, whatever you want to call. So, yeah, see, data-driven organization. When somebody talks about data, so all domains, each and every organization are after data these days, right? So, because most of the companies they talk about either top line or the bottom line, right? So whenever you want to increase your top line, again the data is the main feeder, So maybe to identify your customer or to segment your customer or to if you want to do any product analytics, right? If you want to launch a new product, if you want to increase your top line, then data is the only source. Again, on the bottom line side, if you want to control the cost, right, you want to control the expenses, again everyone talks about the data. So data driven is very vague term which many organizations they use. The So when you say the data driven, right? So initially, if you go back 10 years down the line, even that time also it was data, maybe in the form of Excel, maybe in the form of CSV. At that time, there was no fancy softwares. Now there are so many fancy softwares, AI, Gen AI. But again, at the end of the day, it's a simple Excel only, right? Where we talk about maybe looking at it, the way management looks at maybe have changed little bit. But at the end of the day, it's your rows and columns is what we talk about. So data driven organizations, I mean, it's very imperative or very critical for any organization to look into the data then make any decisions. But what we would like to understand is, are we capturing data correctly? So my personal experience working after in various domains, like currently I'm with BFSI, I worked with supply chain, I worked with manufacturing industries as well. Those organizations are truly data driven organizations who are capturing data correctly. So when I say
Mm-hmm.
capturing data correctly, that doesn't mean simply you have established your stack, you have established your database. If someone is putting data maybe through IoT device, or maybe through someone is entering the data, right? Just by saying, okay, I have this particular application data or this particular process data, that is not the data capturing. Because all your AIML models or all your data driven strategies work well only if you have correct data, meaningful data, and good quality data, if you're storing it. So I mean, my personal opinion would be organizations should invest time and money first to capture correct data, right? Because most of the time we see a team is very much eager to do lots of data analysis, but the quality of data is so pathetic, so many missing values, so many
Mm-hmm.
incorrect data, then so many nulls, so many NAs. I'm talking, very much practical situation, especially in product-based organizations, which hardly, I mean, by using those data, if you build any solution, right, it hardly it works, right? Maybe it might work on train set, maybe it will work on test set, and your out of sample data output truly falls flat on the face. So if any organization really want to use their data well, to leverage their data to, as I said, to increase their top line or bottom line, first thing they need to do is they need to ensure they are capturing data correctly. There should be a good data governance practice. There should be a maker checker flow. I mean, whoever is filling the data, or if the data is coming through any device, if the data is coming through any application, they have to make sure the right data is coming. There should be checker, there should be data quality team, and then those data can be used. That is one aspect. Second aspect is, are we really harnessing cloud technology these days? I mean, to collect your data, right? So there are so many pay-as-you-go models. I know, because setting up your data architecture or data in your own server might be very expensive. Then, are we leveraging any cloud-based solutions to set up your data, to set up a stack? So, because see, at the end of the data democratization is also very important. Only data team having data, it doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, the people who are on field, right, they need to have that data, they need to have that. Do so we think, people who are on field, do they have access to data? Do they have access to smarter solutions so that the data can be really leveraged and our top line and bottom line can be controlled? So a data driven organization is that organization who have mastered on these two concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Then the sky is the limit. Strategy, you need a good strategy team in place. Then I mean, then you can really see things turning out.
Great. So, just to summarize what you have said, we need cleaner and more structured data. There should be a lot of data governance, data democratization, so that it percolates to the nth level of the organization, so that whatever activity that we do is backed by data insights, right?
Right.
Through those solutions. Now, coming on to the next question, these data insights, right? We discussed that these insights, this report should percolate to the nth level. Okay, so uh, do you feel that having just these reports, or analytical solutions, and handing this over to the operational people and the execution level people make an organization data driven? If not, what are those subtle organizational changes, or structural changes that needs to be implemented, so that the data that we are capturing, the correct data that we are capturing, curating, gives the true potential, gives the true benefit to the organization?
Right. So very good question. I mean, see, this is very important. So this is why I mean most of the organizations fail in doing that. This is why many people, I've seen many people saying there is no output from data science team or data analytics team. Uh, Many people might hate me on this, but this is a true fact when it comes to see. But because at the end of the day, what organization want profitability, right? So if you want to being a part of data science team or being a part of data team, data management team, if any data, if you're investing x dollars, millions of dollars in harnessing the data, capturing the data, but if it's not able to give the correct ROI, then all blame comes on the data team saying, okay, the cost on this team is x dollars, but we're not getting any ROI. It's actually negative ROI. The only reason for this, because there's no proper strategy in place to utilize whatever models or insights team has developed. It's not percolating to the right stakeholders because there's some mismatch in managing it. The proper way, which I mean, currently I'm working on one of the very ambitious project in my current organization, wherein one of the uh, top consultant is helping us to drive this project. So what happens, this is true for all organizations, be it BFSI, be it supply chain, manufacturing. uh, all organizations work on a parameter called as key point indicators, KPIs, right? uh, if you talk about risk team, you talk about operational risk, credit risk, regulatory ops, or legal collections. I'm just giving an example of BFSI. All these work on, they have their set of KPIs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does CXO want? CXO wants their KPIs to be in green. He doesn't really care. You are using deep neural networks, you are using Gen AI, you are using simple rules, or you're using simple Excel. He, at the end of the day, what matters for him is it should be in green. And with the help of data science team, if it's coming green, then they will praise data science team. Even after using so many deep neural networks, Gen AI, LLM, Cloud, whatever, etc., etc., if it is still in red, that KPI is in red, then they say data team is of no use. So um, I mean, we are working on a similar project wherein we have identified around 200 KPIs, organization level KPIs, and uh, uh, I mean, each and every team, like operational risk team, credit risk team, they are managing their own KRIs, but it was not
Mm-hmm.
centralized, right? And there was no talking between credit risk and operational risk or legal or regulatory ops, and that way it was very really difficult to manage strategies. So what we did was we uh, we got all these KPIs in one single platform. We used our tech stack to automate all the KRIs. Then we used Databricks, Power BI to show it in very fancy way. We developed it in such a way that we highlighted red KRIs, we highlighted green KRIs, amber KRIs. So once all these things were in one single place, right? There are 150 or 200 KRIs organization level. Then CXOs or the management team came to know, it's like there are so many KRIs in red, so many in amber, so many KRIs which are amber now. Maybe in a couple of months it will go into red. Then there was a council set up. Lots of movement which we observed within the leadership. There were regular council set up. uh, then everyone started giving their feedback. There are lots of changes in KPI definitions, lots of changes in automation process. uh, then finally we finalized, we finalized on the output. Then we started monitoring it month on month. Then team came and said we need to come up with solution, right? We need to come up, we need to look into all those amber or red KRIs, and we need to come up with the solutions to convert that into green KRIs. Then we worked closely with all the leaders within the organization. We worked on the strategy. We picked up each and every KRI. We saw why it was coming into red since last 3 months. Then we jotted down the strategies. We implemented those strategies via our IT team, via our product team. Then slowly we started, things moving. Like a couple of KRIs from red came into amber, amber came to green. So the how well you are trying to leverage the data, how well you're trying to generate the output, and how intelligently you're trying to implement it. The challenge
True.
what I see these days, you generate some output, you implement some fancy model, you generate the output, but at the end stage it's not implemented, right? It's not implemented because it's not implementable, because there is lack in coordination between the team. uh, so so you need to build a solution, you need to set up entire project in such a way that it has to be synthesized, and then everyone should come together and then come up with a strategy, and then you can see things working. So this is a gap I see in many organizations. I mean, data. I mean, the way it is conveyed to the larger team or the CXOs, the importance of the output, that
Hmm.
actually fails. That leads to models or output not getting implemented, and then you don't really see any ROI. So we do not use any complicated or complex algorithms to work on the KPIs. We used simple, whatever rule based algorithms which we had, and then we are seeing nice good progress. So that's my take on implementation.
Absolutely, Ninja. And what we have also seen across organization is uh, people basically, have a myth that better reporting leads to better decision making and better implementation, right? But that's not the scenario. If
I'll
you
give
have,
you to
yeah,
echo on this. See, in current organization, we have around 1,500 reports.
okay,
Okay. Uh, and I am of the opinion that only 10% of those reports gets viewed.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
And remaining all, they're just eating my cost. I
okay,
really think leaders, do they really look into these reports? No. Only 10 to 20% of reports are getting utilized, and remaining 80% they're just getting generated without any direction, right? We are not even sure they are even looking into it, because some reports are not even refreshed since 6 months, and nobody is even asking questions on that. That really
okay.
shows the utilization. So point is, how the data science team, apart from generating reports, apart from talking about fancy tech, they also should have knack how to implement it and how to synthesize it and how to sell their solution within organization,
Okay.
right?
Okay. But what we have traditionally seen that if there is no management buy-in or if there is no functional team buy-in, whatever fancy reports you build, whatever KPIs you build on your reports, they are of no use, right? So wanted to hear your thoughts as to when these KPIs are getting shortlisted, that look, these are my top 50 or top 100 KPIs that we need to analyze, we need to take decisions on. What goes behind those methodology, those playbook around defining those KPIs? Because as you said that if certain reports are not being refreshed for last 6 months, right, and nobody is asking to refresh those reports, that means those KPIs would have gone redundant, right? So, how an organization move in terms of identifying these KPIs, how, how periodically you need to go back to the drawing board and see if those KPIs really matter now, update them based on their relevance. So, what is your thought around the same?
I mean, see, the why, I mean, 80% or 70% of reports are not getting utilized. The only reason was, um, see, how a BI team works. So BI team works on a principle. So some user comes to us saying, we want this report to be generated, right?
Mhm.
The first thing we ask is for BRD, FSDs and BRDs, right? We
Mhm.
ask them, give me the BRD, and then we work on FSDs and give it to IT, and then we create that data mart,
Mm-hmm.
we create data models. So the thing is, we end up interacting with, say, to a team, I mean from the business team, wherein the head of that particular team is not even aware that such kind of report is getting generated. So what usually happens, say for example, for a couple of months they see some recoverables. So from collection standpoint, if I'm say they see some recover, there's no proper recoverable happening in particular segment, right? So that particular head of that particular unit, he will come to us and ask for that report. We'll spend all our energy and generate the report, but after a couple of months, naturally, if that thing gets rectified, right, he will stop looking into those reports. Why? Because while generating those reports, we did not even create some aura of counsel. We did not even connect with his CXO and get a confirmation saying, is this report really needed? If we would have gone through, then certainly there might have been some kind of discussion and they might have said, no, we don't need. So most of the reports get unutilized because they are not temporary in nature. So for that particular couple of months, they look into it. When the numbers are proper, they really hardly bother to look into it. So for that, we need to follow a proper channel of getting the CXOs or higher management people within a council.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have a certain agenda in the council, and then properly get a sign off from the upper management saying what exactly they want to look into and what kind of insights they want. So all those reports wherein we established a council, we went through council route, and those the reports which are automated are getting utilized till now, right? And most of them wherein there is no proper council, there's no proper channel through which to develop, those reports are unutilized. So having that kind of maturity even within an organization is also very important. I mean, the way you approach, the way you set up the council, the way you get it synthesized or prioritized, maybe with CEO of the organization, that is also very important. Unless you end up wasting your time, your infrastructure, your money. Uh, so that's the matter, and this is true. I've seen this in many organizations, not only in current, in even in my previous organization and many other organizations. I've seen this happening. Mostly this is in product based organization, this is true.
Okay. So you're saying that there are a lot of ad hoc reports that comes into
Yeah.
development, which may be required for a month or two, but in the longer run, they're not required. So you need to have that visibility that when you are defining those KPIs, these are my KPIs which we need to track on a month-on-month basis. These are the KPIs. One of a blue moon, if it's required, we can look into it, right? So those sort of segregation and proper framework in terms of identifying those KPIs are quite necessary. And this sometimes, if you're not doing this methodology, this leads to a lot of reports being developed. Okay, the more the reports, the more the area of disconnect, right? So in some of the reports, you would have a KPI showing X amount, the same KPI in some
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
report curated, it's showing Y amount, right? So
Right,
there
right.
is a concept of uh, decision paralysis which happens, right, because of these sort of scenarios. So have you witnessed scenarios like this wherein um, during a meeting you are involved in, you look at a KPI, different people have different set of numbers for the same KPI, and the discussion which was to happen on how to make those KPI into a favorable KPI, it moved towards which one is the correct KPI, right? So have you experienced or witnessed those scenarios? And if that happens, right, how the decisions at those meetings, in those meetings, are generally taken.
This is very common phenomenon, because this I face it entire. I mean, I deal with such situation day in and day out. So this is very common phenomenon, and since you are also talking about the same, looks like this is across the industry is true.
Absolutely.
So see, this happens many times because, as I said, my opening note in this discussion was about data quality and the way data you are capturing, right? Say for example, there is one say for any loan origination, say again, taking a BFS as an example. So loan origination system, if there is one system in an organization for one particular product, I see there are three different tables for that one systems, and in
Mhm.
each table, the values for that particular, say, 30 plus MOB outstanding values. So for
Mhm.
those three values in those three different tables are different.
Mhm.
And why that is why that is happening? Because initially when it was set up, initially when it was developed, there was no proper handover, or there was no proper sign off, right? Uh, Data development or data modeling happened in silos. Maybe one team
Mhm.
wanted some logic, they created their own outstanding logic formulae. Another team wanted some logic, they created their own. Then there was no proper handshake, no, there was no proper KT. Over the time, when we started using those tables, we saw there are so many ambiguity and the errors as well. So that is very common, and the best thing to do, that is, I mean, from if you are moving from traditional RDBMS to cloud, I think as a part of digital transformation, many organizations have invested huge amount of money, including my current organization as well. We moved all data from, on premises to cloud. At that time, at least, I'm happy to see the newer applications. I don't see that ambiguity. The older applications still have that ambiguity. Now, because we maintain a proper IDMs, or we maintain a proper data catalog, you know, within our Unity catalog in Databricks, because in that process, that digital transformation is very important, because in that process we connected with lots of IT team. We made sure which table is the correct table for that particular column. It so happens
Mhm.
that there are three tables. Some columns in table A is correct, some data in table B is correct, some in table C. So we need to get that clarity first, and then merge three tables, and then get the right values. So we did all those clearing of all the data, and created one single map. Uh, so the best thing here would be, I mean, there should be good liaison between data science team or the BI team and the IT team, right? Because traditionally, if you see, all the tables were getting all the developments, all the source system application development was done by IT. You pick up any
Mhm.
organization, be it banking, be it BFSI, supply chain. Initially, it was IT. Then slowly, when cloud technology started picking up, right, and then data engineering, under the parlance of data science, or maybe under the parlance of AI, data engineering falls under, data science. They don't hardly I see any organization wherein data engineering falls under IT. So many organizations had that transition, wherein the data movement happened from IT to data science, or IT to data engineering. So at that point, everyone should make sure that that basic data quality check, or the data hygiene, has to be maintained, and proper IDM and proper data cataloging should happen. Post which, I mean, and there should be one single source of truth. That is very important, I think. That is very eminent and very crucial these days, having a single source of truth. Having a single source of truth will eliminate all those issues which you're talking about, Deepak.
Mhm.
uh, so slowly, all organizations are moving towards single source of truth. Even in my current organization, and slowly, I'm seeing, for newer application, there's less ambiguity. For older application, there's still an ambiguity, because more 100% migration from RDBMS to cloud has not yet happened. But the day it happens, I see this coming down, and it's true for all other organizations as well.
Got it, Niranjan. Thanks for sharing those insights. The next question that I would, throw in your kitty is, um, these insights, these reports that we build for the users to consume, right? Have you seen a scenario that by the data? So till now we have discussed the data should be correct. Because of incorrect data, the reporting, the insight gets misled, and there are a lot of improper or inaccurate decisions being taken. Now, have you seen a scenario where you have the right data, right? You have the right insight. Okay. These are being shared and disseminated to correct set of people who need to consume those reports, but still, the decision that was taken totally went into haywire, right? So this is a scenario where you have all the required necessary information to take a decision on, but because of lack of storytelling, lack of contextual understanding of the users, the data, the insight were misrepresented or misinterpreted, uh, and thus the decision went in a incorrect way, right? So have you witnessed this scenario in your professional career? And if this happens, right, what are some do's and don'ts that an organization need to follow around these areas?
This is actually no difficult point to comment. I will tell you why. In any organization, uh, being from a BI team, I'd like to be very candid here. Uh, Whatever report you share it with business team, right? They will not utilize your data on the face value of the whatever report you have shared, right? They have
Hmm.
their own set of uh, data. Maybe they might have having it. They might have maintaining it on their side manually. You never know.
Hmm.
Uh, they do lots of due diligence. They do lots of mapping. So predominantly, what I have seen is data which you give, right, from being a BI specialist or being a BI team. The business team uses it as a directional, no, from a directional per se. I mean, no strategies would be applicable entirely based on BI team's output. And practically speaking, even if I would have been in their place, I would have also done the same. Just because you are data scientist, just because you are data science or whatever output you are giving it to me, I would not consume it. Maybe I can use it just to get in zest of if I'm moving in the right direction or no. This is very common practice in all the organization, right? So they have their own strategies. They use your report, they use your data, they use your insights, but they come up with their own strategies, they come up with their own decisions, right? And hardly there's nothing you can do, because at the end of the day, business team gets the business, they get the revenue. And who gets the team who is getting the revenue, you understand, is Dipak. I mean, everybody has to listen to that team who is getting the revenue and not the one. Because at the end of the day, BI team, we are like support team, right? We're just like a cost center. We don't have any hands on or say on the revenue per se. So yes, they use our data. They make their own strategies. Maybe only 50, I can see, I can comfortably say only 30 to 40% of their decision rely on whatever output you have shared. But predominantly it's their own strategy which they look into. Say for example, I would like to say, in my previous organization I have seen, um, on the retention piece, right? We built a very fancy retention model using deep neural network, lot of LSTM, lot of text data. And we used to give them the customer segmentation, saying, uh, these are your customers who has high probability of getting retained, and the customers have low probability of retain. uh, they used it for a couple of months initially, and
Hmm.
on the third month I saw they were calling everyone. They were calling to those customers whose probability of getting retained is low, and on
Hmm.
the customers so because frankly speaking, in India labor is cheap, right? Labor is very cheap. And just because data science is saying this particular customer has got low probability, and they say my caller guy is sitting idle, do you really think they will say, okay, don't call that person because data science is saying? No, they will even call that person 10 times and make sure he is converted. So it's very difficult to uh, say the ROI or the revenue terms, it's because of data science, right? It's always a sense of argument. Even in current organization, it's an argument. The delta revenue which you have seen because of our model, is it really
Mm-hmm.
because of data science team, or is it because of the people who are on the field, right? So that's always there, and as a BI team, as a data scientist, we need to live with that.
So whenever this struggle or this tussle happens between the functional team saying that the data that you have provided is not up to the mark, is not correct, and we cannot consume it as it is, right? So and you per se say that, we have taken the data from the correct source, we have done the correct modeling, right? We sat with you to understand what are the KPIs that needs to be mapped and tracked, and here you go, we have the reports. But now you are saying that there is some table within your standalone system which says a different number, different story than what we have shared with you. So when this tussle happens, when this struggle happens within an organization, what are the best way to manage this entire discrepancy between the functional team and the data science team, right? And how critical an IT team becomes in these scenarios. Okay, I can understand that earlier they were the people who were doing all those, data infrastructure handling, and now since the data ambit has exploded massively, so the data engineering falls within the ambit team. uh, but how the IT team then comes into picture, solves the problem, and you as a data science team or analytics team member have that what you can say common ground established within the functional users when this sort of discrepancy comes into picture.
So there are two things. See, when I say discrepancy, I did not meant the data which we gave was wrong. The data which we gave was wrong. The data which we gave was wrong. Yeah, Deepak, you can hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I was saying, see, I never meant the data which we gave. I mean, the data which data team gives is wrong. I mean, on not from that perspective. Even though if you give the right data, see, you are asking about what can IT team do in such situation. So initially I spoke about single source of truth wherein IT is the backbone of that particular concept. Wherein whenever there's talk about single source of truth, it's because of IT. Any organization is successful because of IT when it comes to implementation of single source of truth. So data which data team gives is correct, but the business team, they use it, I mean they mold the data, or they call it a term, they use a term called as massaging, right? They massage the data, they massage the output in such a way at the end you really can't make it out that this is the data actually what I gave, because
Mm.
I give them the right data, and they are also not denying. See, they are also not saying it's wrong data. They also say it's the right data, but the way they use it is not from is not. I mean, is not how I'm anticipating the how they're going to use it. Right? They use it in their own sense. So as I said, data science output or any BI output, they use it for the directional purpose, right? Say suppose if you want to give suppose I'm giving any model output and saying okay, this is the customer whom you should give 20% discount, right? Directionally they know these are set of the customers who are performing better. That only data science can give, or only IT team can give. Business team, they don't have that scale. They might be managing their own data in the backend, but not the scale at which we are managing it. They know this set of the customer are good customers. They're zero
Mm.
DPD customers. They're in the no, they're still not into the X bucket. They're in the live bucket. But we also recommend them. These are set of the customer whom we should give 30% discount. These are set of customer 20%. These are 10% customer. There they use their own logic, right? They might give 30% discount to the customer who we have recommended 10%, right? Or the
Okay.
other way around. So directionally they use our data, but when it comes to on ground implementation, then it the paradigm or the ball game entirely changes. So in any organization, if you see data science and IT, actually they go hand in hand, because I how it works. IT generates the data. The owners of application is always IT, right? If you want to make any changes in the application, if you want to capture a new set of data, it's always IT. From IT it comes to data science as a data mart or data model, like data science or data engineering team. We create own model in three different stages, maybe in silver, bronze, and gold layer. We do all any data massaging or data quality checks in silver layer. Then we keep gold layer for consumption. So there's no any confusion between business team and data team and IT team saying the output which you have generated is wrong. It's always correct, but is it getting implemented the way we are anticipating it? No, they use it only for, as I said, directional purpose, but the end goal or the end implementation is not there. Hey, hi Dipak.
Yeah, so I'll quickly summarize, Niranjan. I think there is some network connectivity issue. So you were saying that um, you know the data that any data team provides to the business end users is a raw material, right? Now they can use the data the way they want because they are the one who have got better business understanding in terms of their process functioning, and they can use the raw data for their decision making. I have a question from the audience, contrary to what you said, Niranjan, that data science is seen as a cost center for an organization, right? So it says that data models and analytics are no longer just support functions. They are becoming the decision making backbone of modern organization. So in this context, you know, I can understand that some of the organizations would be actually a, be a data driven one, wherein any discussion, any topic, any meeting that starts, they need to have certain reports on their screen, certain insights on their screens to start with, right? And they don't consider these data team to be a cost center for them, right? So now if there are organizations who still believe that the data team is a cost center, and they are the ones just maintaining the data, whatever insight that they are giving, it's up to us to use them or not to use them, right? So what would be your recommendations to those organizations uh, who do have the data team, but they are considered more of a cost center rather than revenue driver in the form of better decision making that they can enable for their organization? So what would be your take for those organizations?
So data team being cost center, it doesn't see when I say data team is a cost center, it doesn't apply for all. It's not a generic statement. I'm talking about. I'm talking about specific industries, right? And to prove data team a revenue center, or the if you want to prove positive ROI when it comes to data science, I think there's some more years to go. um, Not all organizations are using data diligently and getting pure positive ROI. The specific I mean the specific industries such as, say, in manufacturing, right? In manufacturing, when it comes to say, even in my current organization, we have our manufacturing unit as well. There the AI and ML is getting utilized in a very robust way. So when it comes to body painting, when it comes to welding, there are many projects which is getting driven by name weld.ai or paint.ai. There you see a specific use case, proper use case. There image analytics, or lots of IoT based analytics is being used predominantly. uh, Lots of diffusion models are getting used. uh, there you can see clear cut ROI, right? There is no argument, there's no ambiguity, because that process is pretty much uh, known. It's like robotics. It's like you are automating your robots. Like earlier there were people, now you're robot. No, this is a particular space wherein you know to paint with 2 coating. This is a particular section where you have to paint 1 coating. This is a particular spot where it has to be spot welding. There it has to be line welding. So there you are seeing lots of ROI, because you are actually optimizing your human capital, right? Then let me talk about supply chain. In supply chain, there's a smart inventory. Many organizations are implementing smart inventory. Then many organizations are also working on predicting um, the it's mostly your on the inventory side, or on the demand and supply side. There again, the use case of AI, or or use case of your analytics team is pretty much high. But when it comes to any organization or very industry wherein the data is so diverse, right?
Mhm.
It becomes impossible to implement any meaningful model. Say for example, if you talk about any credit data of any given large bank in India, in a country like India, do you really think you can implement end to end cutting edge fraud model in any Indian bank, wherein your cost of false positives is so high that you might get sued, you might get notice from RBI of worth crores of rupees, wherein all your investments, all your budgeting, may fall flat. Do you really want to implement your deep neural network to identify frauds in such industry wherein it's guided by your regulators, right? No. So as I said, the analytics team being cost center or profit center, it depends upon in which industry you are, right? If you are in supply chain, if you are in manufacturing, if you are in heavy engineering, where point A to point B, I'm using my video analytics, I'm using my diffusion model, image analytics, it works well. But in an industry where your data is so diverse, data, first of all, data is very I mean messy, data is not clean, data is incomplete, and on top of that you are using new age algorithms which are known to be overfitting and underfitting, especially when the data size is very small, or data size quality is very bad. Do you really want to take that risk? So at the end of the day, what will happen? You will end up using rule based algorithm. After building
Yes.
a high-end model, you'll comment out all your codes, and at the bottom you see simple rule-based algorithm, right? And that too, again, when you build rule-based algorithm, the output is again directional, right? You will never implement, you will never block a customer just because that rule is giving some weird score. Do you really go and block that customer? No, because the moment he complains to RBI ombudsman, you're gone for a toss. So it depends. In an organization where the data is very diverse, data is not clean, is not organized, there you are a cost center. In organization wherein you need to do welding from point A to point B, you need to build your robots in such a way, there you are profitable. So it depends. You can't generalize it. So that's what I meant.
Great. We have a question from the audience, which says that, nowadays, because of this AI hype, lot of insights, lot of reports are getting generated using AI systems, right? Now, how comfortable, now compare it with, Power BI reports or Tableau reports or any other application where the coding was being done, the calculation logics was being done by a human element to it, right? Versus the AI generated reports or insights, which, because of this AI hype, is now getting generated and being used. So how comfortable would a leader or a decision maker would be in terms of consuming these AI based reports or AI based insights or AI based, recommendations? How they can trust, predominantly, having a confidence on those logics, the backend logics which the AI would have written to arrive at those insights. So what's your take on this? And, how do you see AI getting implemented and being used in this report generation and this insight generation going forward?
So of course there's an AI hype, right? But at the end of the day, AI is just a tool, right? Reports, since ages, reports were getting generated since 1990s. Reports were getting generated. Earlier it was Excel, then it was SAS, then it was R, Python. Now fancy AI tools. But what I'm clearly seeing is there's some kind of pressure in current organization to use AI, and maybe in a couple of years that will fade away unless and until there is real use case coming through. Many organizations are building buddies
Mhm.
for their CXOs, like CXO buddy or CEO buddy, CRO buddy, and also with the advent of highly performing LLMs, right? Uh, uh, which are generating real time. a fantastic output, right? The kind of output which you're getting from these LLMs these days are really, fantastic. And uh, if any organization is using those LLM and creating AI chatbot and if they want to replace your Power BI or Tableau, that's happening. But I am also seeing some kind of resistance from CXOs. uh, First of all, see, there are two things. One, my personal experience, because we built one of the uh, platform, one of the buddy using Gen AI. uh, i- the moment you give any prompt, the output is actually, I'm getting calls on my mobile, so that's the reason it's getting disconnected again and again.
No
Because
worries.
I'm connected through my mobile, and because my office laptop is not allowing me to connect through streamyard.com.
No worries. No
So
worries.
whenever I'm getting a call, it's getting disconnected. I have to, okay. So I was talking about
The AI part of it.
mm, hmm. So, so so earlier, say for example, if any CXO wants to look into the output, earlier with Power BI, it was within fraction of seconds, right? This is the actual case I'm talking about. Uh, we have lots of collection related reports, right? Business related reports. And if any CEO or CXO wants to look into the numbers, for him, it's just to open the dashboard and just look into numbers. But here, he needs to type it, and because of infrastructural challenges, it keeps on rotating, right? For one simple output, he needs to wait for at least 1 minute, wherein in Power BI he can look at it into in fraction of second. So that was giving some kind of resistance, right? And why it was happening? Because see, to build such a robust chatbot, uh, you need powerful compute, right? And in today's date, storage is cheap but not the compute,
Absolutely.
right? You end up spending X dollars, millions of dollars, just to fulfill your ego, wherein there's a pressure from outer world to use AI. Or
Yeah,
you look into
the fear of missing
your
out.
Power BI. Yeah, you look into Power BI and Tableau and speak to your business team and make a strategy. It's upon you. uh, but yeah, there's a pressure. There's lots of I would say uh, pressure building up on the management to use these such solutions. But slowly, as in how the infrastructural cost gets reduced, the way storage cost got reduced over the years, right? You saw in 2015, 6 to 15, 16, the storage cost, and now if you see storage cost is like drastically there's fall. It's in similar way. If cloud organizations, cloud companies, they come up with very very I mean, minimum charges maybe on usage of their infrastructure. Then maybe you can build robust system, because at the end of the day, again, it's a cost versus usage. Do you really want to replace whatever is going on with zero cost, or you want to implement something fancy and add 1 million more cost, right? But somehow we solved it. uh, that's one part. Again, what would happen, the output from those smarter chatbot, whatever output you get, that no business will utilize those output directly to his business, right? Again, there will be lots of discussions, lots of changes, lots of additions, right? Say for example, because it has its own limitations, like we take only collections data, build a chatbot based on the collections data, but your CEO wants to see based on this collections data what's the business impact, that
Correct.
that he will not get from that chatbot, because that chatbot is trained only on the collections data. Then he will come back to us saying, okay, this is the output, can you merge your business number and send it to me? So there are so much of uh, to and fro happening, and to build one robust system, you need to you need to train your chatbot using entire organization data. There's a training cost, there is GPU cost, there is maintenance cost, there's lots of cost. So if your organization is so cash rich, then go ahead and build it. If not, then be happy with Tableau and Power BI.
And one very interesting real case scenario that you spoke, that if I'm a person at a key decision making role, right? I'll not bother to go do the typing or give a voice command to have that insight. I can very well log into my Power BI, and Power BI or Tableau, it's already logged in, right? I can look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
those numbers in a very instant way, right? Now it's contradictory to what we are thinking AI would do, right? AI is going to make our life easy, make our life simple, but in this scenario, it is actually making it more complex, and
Yeah,
it's
obviously, of
value
course,
to
yes.
have AI reports than to have AI generated insights. Yes.
Yeah.
Couple of questions before we wrap up, Niranjan. Sorry, we are extending this for the next 5 minutes as well. One question that we have got is, what skills matter more now, for any organization, for any data team, for any top decision maker? Okay, is it the technical depth, or is it the business storytelling around any insights, around any reports that we are consuming? So, what's your take?
So this is this for data science team, or this is for business team? So this is from on behalf of whom?
I'll put both these options in front of you. So,
From if you this is on behalf of data science team, then I would say please focus less on these algorithms, right? Deepak, if you remember, I don't know when you started your career, but when I started my career in data science, there's lots of hype on this linear regression, logistic regression. You could command good salary if you knew these algorithms well. You could
yes.
command good salary if you know Python programming, R programming, SAS programming. I went through all those phases in my life, and I got what I deserved. But today, if you see, right, maybe in 3 years down the line, all these things are automated. All these things, from model building, from coding. Do you think after 3 years there will be any organization saying, "I want Python developers, R developers"? No, everything will be automated. You have Copilot, you have so many things coming in place. Model development, feature engineering, hyperparameter, everything is done by AI systems. After 3 4 years, do you really need data scientist? I think no, we don't need data scientist. Then what should data scientists do? uh, they should, I mean, my advice would be they should stick to one particular domain. even even if you speak to my boss, he is also of the same opinion. You should get acquainted with one particular domain, have the domain understanding very well. So the domain storytelling which you talk about, the domain storytelling plus technical skill is a game changer, or it's a deadly combination. If you are relying, my suggestion is to all those people who are listening or who are in this forum, who are about to start their career or who are in their mid phase of the career, who have like 4 5 years of experience, please focus on domain, build your domain skills, guys, because after 3 4 years there's no need of data science, there's no need of data scientists. Everything will be taken care of by Google, Microsoft. These people will disrupt everything. Okay. I i don't need any Python programmer going forward. Even if I want to hire someone, I would hire one Python programmer, I would hire three domain experts. I want a data scientist who knows what is regulatory operations, how does regulatory ops work, how does credit risk work, how does operational risk work, so that I can build my solution in such a way that it is consumed by that particular team, right? So this is from, I think from the data science only I can say. I cannot comment anything on the business side because I am not part of any business team. So this is my take. I mean, the focus on the building up your strong domain skills, and then maybe you can look up into these algorithms, because this will fade one day.
Great, great. So it's always principle based learning that needs to be done rather than a tool based learning that we
Yeah, yeah,
say.
obviously.
Uh, yeah. Last but not the least, Niranjan, uh, how do you see an organization in terms of data practice, in terms of data consumption, 2 to 5 years down the line? Okay. uh, Having mind this AI disruption coming in, a lot of improvements being done, lot of additions being done, upgradation being done in the analytical products that we have in the market, like Tableau, Power BI, Click. A lot of AI features, self-service BI features being implemented in
Yeah.
there. So how do you see an organization, a data-driven organization, 5 years, down the line?
So as I said, 5 years down the line, it's the uh, mostly the implementation set. See, I will tell you, um, development of smart solutions was challenged a couple of years ago. That has been catered, right? Many companies have their own data science team. They're building models. How far it is consumed, it's a different story. Again, as I said, then the data storage or the data management side, so we have a good since last 3 4 years. There's lots of development with respect to cloud native technologies which companies are buying, and that side is also again sorted. uh, the Now comes the third aspect, the application, right? The application or the real implementation. So next 3 4 years down the line, what I would see again, right, uh, how well these solutions are getting implemented, right? uh, uh, and I mean, are we really, is there any value addition on the reports which are creating, right? As I said, instead of creating 2,000 5,000 reports, can you just create 100 reports and make sure all 100 reports are consumed, rather than consuming only 20%? Because it's then clearly implementation failure, right? So focus should be on implementation now going forward. uh, and again, the crippling down of the output which data team generates, how well it's getting used, how well it's getting consumed. Are we creating a avenue for on-field people, consuming the output? I think many companies or many startups I've seen, they're coming up with the application saying, maybe some handheld device getting used by these people who are on feet on people on feet on the ground. They're using the application. They're using the output which is coming from the all the data models. So everything comes under implementation, right? So we need to really focus on implementation as of now. So earlier it was like the Excel output used to go to zonal managers used to give to national managers used to send it to their team. But can
Mhm.
we change that paradigm? Can we have some kind of smarter uh, ways to apply your output? So next 3 to 4 years would be predominantly on how well the output can be applied, or how well it can be utilized, right? So that application is very important, or that implementation of the solution is very important. uh, because we have passed the phase of data storage, we have passed the phase of solution building. Now it's the stage of implementation.
So it will involve a lot of, as you said, that people on feet, core execution, core business team to consume these reports, make those strategic decisions, identify any lacuna in the reports, okay, correct them, and then reuse those components. So, as you
Yeah.
rightly said, it's more of a implementation ball game that we are heading towards in the next 4 to 5 years, rather than those infrastructure building and those reports building. And I feel uh, the frameworks within which the organizations operate, right, around this data also would evolve because of this AI, because of these newer technologies coming into picture. And I mean, the way we are looking at these newer cutting edge technologies coming in. Uh, Thanks, Niranjan. Thanks for your valuable time. Um, it's been, pleasure to have you and have this discussion after such a long time. We have exceeded 10 minutes past our scheduled time. Really apologies, but we couldn't allow ourselves to let you go. We have tons of questions on the social medias posted, but due to lack of time, we'll not be able to get those responses. But I tried to capture the main ones, the most critical ones, which I feel that would be beneficial for the larger audience. Thanks again, Niranjan. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we shall connect again sometime in the near future.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Deepak. Yeah, it's pleasure. Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks.
thank you.